Welcome, everyone. I am live today with Rachel from ahmi. Am I pronouncing it correctly? Is that how you
Yes,
do it?
ahmi. Yes.
Wonderful. And we are live today to talk about Rachel's journey of building a community to support women build healthy habits without perfectionism, without the overwhelm. Building that community first as a text group within a small circle of friends, if I understand correctly, then
Yep.
taking it onto an Instagram page with thousands of followers. And now thriving on Substack and doing all of that while being the founder of a law firm and being a mom. So I'm really curious to hear how you manage all of it, why you do all of it, and what your next steps look like. Rachel, for
Thank
everyone
you.
who does not know you yet, give us a quick elevator pitch. What do you do? What's the origin story of your work here on Substack?
Yeah, so you gave a good intro. I started Substack, 2 years ago, but I've had ahmi.health for a little over 7 years. So I think that's really important to note that this has been a very long journey, which we can get into. Um, But in addition to writing my newsletter and ahmi.health, for the past 12 years, I've been co-founder and managing partner of a law firm that me and my co-founder Christina started called J&O Law, where we represent high-growth venture-backed companies as their outside general counsel. A lot of that is infused into what I do at ahmi. I'm very interested in founders' journey and starting businesses. So although ahmi is at its core a wellness company, there's also so much that I dive into with respect to starting companies, my own personal journey, podcasts I listen to, and all of that. But me, actually, the origin of it was it started as a text group. After I had my second baby, I really wanted to get healthy. I usually live it up when I'm pregnant. I love Outback Steakhouse and Pizza Hut and Chick-fil-A. I love that even when I'm not pregnant. But I after my second baby, I had about 50 pounds to lose, and there really wasn't anything that, I was wanting to join. Like, there was Noom, there was Weight Watchers, there was, these random groups. I feel like I've always loved accountability and believed in the power of accountability and doing something together. And so we actually started as a text group with a couple friends. I got 5 friends together. I was like, guys, and I know we all, every time we get together, we talk about wanting to become healthy and we never do anything about it. Let's really commit for 3 months. And we committed together. This was before the GLP-1 era. So we all, lost a lot of weight. I lost 25 pounds. And naturally, people at that time are like, what are you guys doing? And we were like, we committed. We work out at least 3 days a week because we feel like that's manageable. We share super simple, healthy recipes that we could make after a long day. And the magic was in doing it together and keeping each other accountable. And we weren't health and wellness influencers. We were people in their residency, people at big time corporate jobs. Everybody was kind of at different stages of lives. We had new moms. We had, people that were wanting to go back and feel good to get on the dating apps. We were a whole spectrum of, where we were in life, but we all really had the motivation to get healthy. And after we all felt big changes and people started to see it and wanted to join it too, I was like, there's nothing to join. Get some friends together and you can do it too. And I realized that a lot of people either didn't have that close friend group or maybe they had friends, but nobody that really wanted it as bad as them. And there's nothing worse than getting into a group and it fizzles after a week or two because you're the only one that really wants it. I need people that are motivated, if not even more motivated than me, so that it encourages me to do better and be better. So that's where it started. Eventually, I started creating these groups of people, and I would sometimes match them together and put them on WhatsApp. WhatsApp grew. I had 100 people on WhatsApp and 20 different groups. That evolved to Slack. Slack, I felt wasn't the right place for our community. It felt very business and worky, and maybe that's because I do use it for work. Um, And I was kind of at like this crossroads. I'm like, I don't know what I should do about on me. I was also at that point postpartum with my third kid. And I was like, maybe I should just give it up. And I had a really pivotal conversation with Alex Lieberman. He started the Morning Brew newsletter, and he really convinced me to still go for it. And I launched my Substack like pretty much the day after. This was over 2 years ago. So Substack was newish. I was just starting to hear about it. And I was like, wait, this sounds really good. Like it's a newsletter, which we already like. I love doing newsletters. It had this group chat element, so it could incorporate like the WhatsApp and the Slack, but like all in one place. People could just join because I was like manually adding people to Slack and WhatsApp, which was a nightmare.
Mm.
So it really was like the perfect home for me. And then I was just doing newsletters, and then I downloaded the app, maybe even like a few months after being on it, and was like, oh my gosh, there's like this whole nother world on there. And I know a lot of people that I know don't even have the app. And it's like there are, millions and millions of people building something on Substack or looking at things on Substack. And it's just been like a really great home. So me as its core has always been like originated from a group text with a friend, and I feel like that is what it still is. I don't look at it as a newsletter or a company or like a
Mm.
brand. I look at it as really like a friend that texts you like, you should try this or let's do this together. And that's what I hope like still comes through it after 7 years. It's just lives on Substack now.
You know what really resonated with me is you emphasizing that it started as a friends group. And what I think is in that message is most communities that thrive and where people feel seen and where people feel good about being part of the community, there's some sort of glue that basically holds the group together, right? There is something that people in this community have together. And you explained so very well that in your case, it's the busy moms, it's people who don't have a lot of time and mental energy and the bandwidth to do like crazy experiments and kind of go all in and do a 90-minute workout every single day. Like based on your explanation, it was so clear that these people understand each other and that's why they can lift each other up. And when I look at our community and also at the Substack Accelerator, for example, that's how we met, right? The people who come to us, they don't want to waste their time. They don't want to dabble around, just check out what can be done. They want to be efficient and effective and make clear progress on their journey with their Substacks. They want to quickly become bestsellers. And I think when like regardless of what type of community you look at, there's always this kind of sticky glue that holds the community together. And it's so important that the founder, the creator of the community, is able to articulate that. And when I look at your page, it feels like you are in the center of that community, you're guiding the community, but you're very much in it and you are on the journey with your readers, with your community members, which I think it creates a very relatable and safe space for your audience in particular.
I know. It's funny because with communities, a lot of people talk about like facilitators and you need to have a facilitator. Like I definitely do not see myself as a facilitator. I actually think I'm not really good at it, like of like sending prompts and having people do a discussion. What I'm good at is being myself and just being part of the community. And I am probably the most active person in the community. But we have a lot of other active people that have been there for years and years and years. So, we do quarterly group challenges, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. We bring in a registered dietitian or somebody on the fitness side. And I do them because I want them. Like right now, I've been traveling crazy for summer and I'm looking forward to like our fall challenge. And I always think I'm like, one day, like, do you think I'll stop doing these challenges? But I don't know. For now, like I still, I create things that I feel like our community wants and like deep down I want to. So yeah, I think that's really important that you have to be, if you're not all in, like, how can you expect others to be all in?
Yeah, absolutely. And You mentioned the challenges. I know you have a lot going on your publication. You're well on your way to 100 paid subscribers and becoming a bestseller. But let's take a step back. You mentioned you've been on Substack for a while, right? You've checked out the platform already 2 years ago. Um, Looking at how you have used Substack back then and how you're using it now and how you've designed your paid tier and everything that you're doing to also grow your community
Mhm.
now, what do you think you got wrong about Substack in the beginning? Is there anything that you say it took you a while to understand what's different here versus on Instagram, for example, or on other channels you've used as a consumer?
Yeah, I mean, I think Instagram helps and still does people discover me, but you can't really be part of it on Instagram. Like I think everybody that follows us is like part of our community and it gets benefit from the things we posted, but I don't do emails there, I don't chat there. Um I think it like things go away quickly. I post a lot of stories and they disappear after 24 hours, which sometimes is good because I'm like, oh, I love that one. Substack kind of lives forever. Um, but Substack, like I like the long form writing. And I am not a writer. Like I have horrible grammar. I write like I talk. And so I like don't really use commas. I just write truly how I talk to my friends. And I can own my email list and have this group chat component. So it kind of had everything all in one. I think the biggest thing I came to Substack with a little over 2,000 subscribers already and imported my list which I had living alone in like MailChimp. I think that's also really important because that 20, I think I'm up to 2,300 number right now. That was just like keeping my subscribers and some dropping and some going. And, it's been over 7 years. So even though I've been on, like we talk about this 2 years on Substack, I want to be very real that like I've been building my email list for over 7 years. And so really on Substack, it's like that core, 300 people that have joined that are, totally new to me. And it might take them 7 years to want to convert to paid. But they're at least interested in what I'm doing. So I think that was the biggest thing. I think I made a lot of mistakes when I first started on Substack. I was just totally new to it. I think what I got wrong was trying to think like every post needed to be important, and underestimating the power of notes. A few months ago, I actually had a call with my friend Robin, who's also a writer at Substack, and I was like, Robin, I just want to like try to post once a day on notes and see what happens. And 30 days later, I called her. I'm like, Robin, you got to start posting on notes once a day. And now I post 3 to 4 times a day on notes. And it has been, not only do I like enjoy it because I get to connect with people there, I see what other people are doing and I see how other people are, engaging with people. And it just gives me all these ideas. So I feel like first download the app because I didn't even download the app when I first joined Substack, and that is where the power is. And then just try and start small. Tell yourself like one note a day. People just want to start what you're about and kind of see. I also like my notes are a mishmash. They still are. Like I posted myself dressing up with my daughter the other day. I just posted a video of her snoring and then I like do post wellness stuff about on me. Like I'm just kind of still exploring like what works, what people like, how people can really see who I am as a person.
Hmm. I love that you mentioned that because that's also what we always recommend doing on notes, right? You need to be a little experimental to A, see what resonates with people, B, see what do you enjoy creating. I always like to say if you force yourself into a pattern, into creating something that you don't even want to create, the odds of that thing resonating with others are very, very low.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
what I would love to explore a little deeper with you is also how you designed the rest of your publication apart from notes. give us a tour of the Army publication. How did you set up your paid tier? What do you think gets people excited about the paid tier in your community in particular? And what do you hear from the community when it comes to the paid resources and what they are getting as premium members?
I know people love these quarterly challenges. I think that is our secret sauce. I do not think people are joining on me, and this might be unpopular opinion, for like getting exclusive content. I think they are joining because they want to be part of something. They believe in our mission. There is so much more that can come out of me. People have found business partners. People have hired people. People have sold houses. There's just so much more that comes out of me than just like our paid subscriber content. So that actually is what I've been leaning on more, on just like, listen, by becoming a paid subscriber, yes, it's like $90 a year, but you're supporting the mission of me as much as the content. Like, becoming a paid subscriber isn't just buying our content, it's helping us build on me, because once we're a paid subscriber, hopefully we'll get even more eyeballs on me. Um, and, work towards that. But I think for us, the quarterly challenges are very key, because that's something like people can consistently count on. I do paywall some posts, although I hate paywalling posts because I put like so much time and energy in posts, and the fact that only my paid subscriber are really going to see the juicy things. Like, my conversation with Alex Lieberman is one of my paid posts, and it like literally helped me start and it revigorated me on me. But I also think it's important to show that there's value behind the
Mm.
paywall, and that they're not just, paying for my top 10 lists of this. They're paying for things that I really think will help them on like whatever journey they're at.
Let's dive a bit deeper into the challenges in particular,
Yeah.
because that's so specific, and maybe there are a few people watching this who never thought of doing a challenge, but who suddenly, see this opportunity to do something similar for their publications.
Yeah.
Um, Guide us through what a challenge for you looks like, how you design it, how you run it, and whether you basically copy paste the same structure over and over again. What's happening behind the scenes, and what do your members experience
Yeah.
during
Oh,
such
I
a
wish I could
challenge?
copy and paste. I always go into it being like, let's just rinse and repeat. But the challenges, we're really intentional on who we partner with. So every challenge, we partner with a thought leader, whether it's somebody in fitness or a nutritionist, somebody else on Substack. We've done Courtney Fisher, Fit with Coco. We've done Kristen McGee, who has an amazing app and platform. We've had registered dietitians. Um, but the core with our challenges is, and I've learned over time, that there needs to be a start date that everybody has to start by, because that also like, drives subscribers to not be like, whatever, I'll do it on Sunday or next time I have my credit card in my hand. They really have to do it by a certain date to get in. And then we've learned that they need to be manageable in time. Like, a 3-month something or challenge just doesn't work for our community, because they are busy, they're not going to be super engaged, and I want us to be engaged during the challenges, and I want them to be doable. So I really think for us the sweet spot is 2 to 3 weeks of a challenge. We'll like bring in an expert right now for our fall challenge. It's like getting back into our healthy habits after the inevitable summer, being pulled in every direction. So we are talking with somebody that will likely do a 3-week challenge where we all commit to like a certain number of strength workouts, eating clean, and she'll guide us on that. And then having a weekly Zoom with her where she kind of lays the foundation in the first one. The second one, it's accountability. How are you doing? What can we fix? Let's Q&A. And the third Zoom in the third week will be, okay, how do we like keep this going? And how do we not on Sunday just be like, it's over, like let's live life again. Um, so we've been really intentional, and that's how the challenges are. We've done meditation challenges, we've done movement challenges, we've done nutrition challenges. We also do a virtual rock walk or run club every November that's actually open to the public. And that's just a way to really get the Ami brand out there. And we always partner with a nonprofit. It's called Run for Ange, for one of my good friends and Ami members who passed away a couple years ago. And she loved running because it reminded her she was alive. And so we do an annual Run for Ange that's open to the public.
And what do you think gets people most excited to actually show up for these challenges? How do you get your community excited, even in the promotion phase? For example, let's take the fall challenge as a specific example.
Mhm.
Did you already start talking about it? Do
No.
you do you at least have like a rinse and repeat system for the promotional side where you
I
say,
mean,
okay,
yes, we have a few
this many
emails that
weeks?
we can, like, go out, but these aren't, like, big pushes. Because I also, with me, I've learned over the years that I need to make it easy and sustainable for me too. So I'm not these aren't, like, what are they called? I feel like I'm, like, blanking on the name, like courses or these big pushes where it feels like this heavy lift. It's also not
Yeah.
$1,000. It's like very low. You could join a monthly challenge for $19 and just do that. So I've learned to make it really easy on myself. I post, a week or two before is when I really start talking about it because I feel like before then people aren't like even paying attention. Like,
Mm.
okay, yeah, I'm whatever, lady. I don't even know where I'll be in September. But I'll sprinkle things out. Like recently I've said I've been starting to think of our September challenge. I'm really excited about it. But the details, like I keep it very easy. For about 2 weeks before, I'll start really pushing it. And we have about like maybe four emails that goes out about it, but it's not like a rinse and repeat system. Um, it's what I know has worked and what I know keeps it like easy and sustainable.
I love that you mentioned you need this to be easy and manageable for you,
Yes.
because that's an aspect that I would love to touch on as well. We mentioned it before. You're the founder of a law firm, mom of three. I don't know which
Yeah.
one is keeping you more busy. Um, what do you think helps you when it comes to protecting your time and actually being able to do this work? Because I think it's absolutely not obvious. It doesn't seem very easy, but it's the reality for most newer creators, and even
Yes.
not new creators. As you've said, you've been doing this for many years already. This is just your reality of not having 40 plus hours a week to dedicate to your community and to your content here on Substack or on Instagram. What makes it work for you, or how do you make it work? How do you sustain being here, being active on Substack, actually having a growing community, being able to monetize and staying sane while doing all of it?
Yeah. Well, I think that like also leads into what I'm building here, that I'm not selling perfection. I'm selling realistic wellness. And so that is the core of our brand. I always joke that I'm probably the last person in the world who should be running a wellness brand. Which is probably actually like exactly why I should, because a lot of people feel like they would never run a wellness brand and they don't live that perfect wellness life. And I'm definitely still one of them. So that's what I think is like actually our competitive advantage of not being so feeling like a company. I always go back to Goop, Gwyneth Paltrow's company. Um, I never wanted Ami to feel like a newsletter that just occasionally sells something and like got ya. I loved Goop in their early days. I think I was a subscriber when it was just Gwyneth Paltrow and her laptop. And she was like, let me tell you about the trips I'm going on, the places I'm cooking. And I loved that feeling of getting something in my inbox, knowing it's coming from one human on the other side of the computer. Yes, it was Gwyneth Paltrow, so it was kind of like special. But it wasn't perfectly edited. It wasn't polished to a T. Like it just felt like she was talking to us about her recommendations. Now, like she turned into a company, it has employees. So it more feels like a brand. I think over time, if you watch her evolution in Goop, she's actually gone back to this talking. Like, she wants to send the Thursday newsletters. At least it's coming from like her voice, signed from Gwyneth Paltrow instead of from Goop. Um, I think it's really important that people feel like it's coming from me. And if for some reason I can't do it in a week, I don't do it. I, you know, I know they'll get it. They're not paying $1,000 a year. I know they'll get it, that it's okay. And I've gone through highs and lows of motivation with Ami. Sometimes I'm really feeling it and super inspired and creative and want to do more. And sometimes I'm like in hibernation mode and like kind of like, like I don't feel like doing this. I'll just like restack some things and, reuse some content. Um, I don't enjoy it when I'm like that. Like, I really enjoy the new stuff, but um that's how I guess, like, leaning into simplicity kind of goes to our brand, that it's not a whole production.
Yeah. Yeah. If you had a friend come to and they have a topic they're passionate about, they want to start their own Substack community, they're starting from scratch, absolute zero, and they ask you how to do it, what would you tell that friend? She's equally busy. She's deeply passionate about her topic. Zero subscribers, no content ever created. What would you tell her to do, and what would you refuse to spend time on in her case?
Yeah, I think, and I know I am not type A. I move fast and break things, and I like moving that thing. So I think just getting started, and I know some people aren't that type and, want everything to be perfect. And, you have to do you on that realm. But I think if you overthink everything, nothing will ever get done. And the beauty of growing something like this, especially on Substack, is like you gotta try things and you gotta see what resonates. Because sometimes the things I think people will really love, they don't. And like some random thing everybody will start commenting on and loving and wanting to, know where I got this and what did I do. So I would say, like, tactical real advice for anybody that's truly starting and at day one is to publish consistently. It doesn't have to be a full note, like a post on notes at least once a day. Like, just get your feet wet posting on notes. Even if you don't even have just like one post, like, hi, this is me. I'm nervous. I'm starting on Instagram. You can find me on notes for now. Like, you don't even have to make a big to do if you don't even like want to deal with that right now. And then just start exploring on notes, right? And about like your genuine interests. It's okay to be a mishmash. Like I said, like I just posted, I think yesterday, like 2 of my airport travel hacks. I'm like, well, do people even care about this? Like, I don't know. Who knows? A cute video of my daughter snoring the other day. Reply to every comment. Like, you don't have millions of people. You have maybe, at first 20 people, then 100 people. So reply to every comment, spend lots of time on notes, liking, commenting, and engaging on other people's things, because it helps them grow and it helps them see you, and you'll get ideas and inspiration by doing it. I have a whole folder on my phone of saved notes that I like as inspiration, because I'm constantly seeing stuff. I'm like, oh, I could do something like that, like add my twist. Um, I think building relationships and friendships with other writers. I went to Paris last month and I met with like 4 Substack writers in person in Paris, that I have like
How did
kind of
that
connected
happen?
with. I know. It got invited to Veronica Beard's store opening by a fashion Substack writer, Nora, and she invited other Substack writers. So I ended up meeting 4 other Substack writers, and now we all follow each other and comment on each other's things, because there's nothing that beats that real life connection. I have a woman named Alex McCann I met when I went to California, Katie Barnes, Kylie, like you. Like, I think there's people that I've met that I have just met through Substack. Anne and Avery from News, they're another health and wellness publication. I swear they like every single one of my notes. Like, I don't think there's a note they have never liked. And they, we just support each other, and I think that's very different because you actually feel that, where on other social media platforms, you, like, just get a like and there's no connection. There was actually a woman named Jenny that kept liking my things, and I started following her, and she'd post similar things, and I'm like I messaged her last week, and I was like, "I think we would really get along because, like, I like your stuff, you're liking my stuff," and she's like, "Yes." She's like, "I would love to Zoom with you. I'm in Seattle. Let's, like, set something up." So we're meeting. So I think being open to that is really important, because then it's like a ripple effect and it creates that flywheel of like writers supporting writers. And these aren't people with thousands of writers. Like there's people, somebody I met in the accelerator, that has, like 100 subscribers and he's growing. And I like inspired him to write an article on his pivot. And he wrote that article. I shared it. So it's just like that organic support, that really, really helps at first. And don't obsess over logos and colors. We're doing our first rebrand in over 7 years. We have used the same exact logo, the same exact colors, the same exact everything, the same exact website. Like we've changed the copy a little, but I just don't obsess about it. I just keep showing up and go into hermit mode and go dark for a little if I need to.
That's so inspiring. And I love that you highlighted the personal connections in particular, because I feel like that's exactly why people enjoy Substack right now as well. We had some friends over last weekend and we were talking, and there was a friend of ours, he's writing in German. Um he's writing about emotional regulation, nervous system, and he basically said he feels like Substack is the right place for him. He cannot explain why, but he just enjoys it. He feels welcome, and he doesn't even have an audience built on the platform yet. He imported a few subscribers.
Yeah.
He just joined. He has 2, 3, 4 likes on his notes. And while we were talking, we basically came to the conclusion the reason you feel good on Substack in particular is because you don't see ads. Because we are so used to seeing ads, flashy banners, links, urgency, timers, it's everywhere. And it's also on all the other socials that we are using. And if you scroll through Substack, it just feels different.
Yeah.
For now, I
Yeah. And
think
by the
that's a
way, I
major
get 2 or 4
difference.
likes too, and I have thousands of subscribers. It's just different. And you can't, I sometimes get no likes and then I'll go in and like it myself because I want to give it one like.
Yeah. And and I think that personal touch that Substack has right now, like being able to DM someone and being able to
Yeah.
expect a response and actually getting a response and having human conversations, I feel like that's what gets people really excited to be here. And I'm always so I find it so funny when I talk to people about Substack, maybe they've just heard about Substack, and they're basically asking me, well, how do I grow on the platform? How do I gain visibility? And a lot of people expect that there is like a 3 sentence answer and that you will just push a few buttons and you will go viral or suddenly have, thousands of subscribers, which I think
Yeah.
is funny because that's not ever been the case on any platform. Like it
Yeah.
takes work, it takes time. But of course, there are smart things that you can do to make it more likely to happen and to make it easier for you to happen and to get in front of the right people in particular. Um, and I do believe that this shift of wanting to talk to real people and being able to connect, that kind of sticks with us right now. And it's also the reason why we are basically playing around with the idea of in-person events, seeing where could we meet our clients, our community members, how can we bring the accelerator members into a room, and what types of formats make the most sense for communities to meet together. We've just been in a mastermind ourselves in Rome. It's been an entire shift in how I view those
Wow.
in-person events again, and I believe that Substack right now is perfectly positioned to basically enhance and empower these communities that really focus on the human, regardless of whether you write about data engineering, about health and fitness, or about something entirely different that has more of a personal touch. Maybe you write about something like parenting, you share more personal stories. It doesn't matter, regardless of whether it's technical and career driven or deeply personal. The creator is at the center of the work and at the center of the publication. And the more you leverage that and the more you let your personality shine, the more I believe the more magnetic you become, because you are attracting like-minded people. And what I see is a lot of creators are not aware of that. They think in terms of strategy, tactic,
Yeah.
growth hack, because that's what you've been told and what you've learned for years, maybe over a decade, if you've been into marketing, if you've been into business. Um, but if everybody is doing the exact same things, then the main differentiator is your personality. It's you. It's people don't come to you because you have the flashiest or
Yeah.
newest logo, right? They come to you in particular because there is trust. There is something magnetic about you, and not everyone will connect with you and with your brand. And that's perfectly fine, because you don't want the wrong people in your community either, right?
Right.
Imagine you are running a challenge, you are in a Zoom room, you have a dozen people who are like-minded, who have the same energy, and there is one person that is completely off, in the sense that she's different. She has different goals. She looks at the topic very differently. She just disagrees with what you're doing. Maybe she's right in her own way. I'm not even saying she's wrong. She's just doing it differently. That's perfectly fine. But obviously, she is in the wrong place, and she's probably going to put a wrong and negative energy on the entire room, right? And you mentioned in the beginning that you don't view yourself as a facilitator. But even if you don't take that role, if you open a Zoom room, for example, or a challenge like that, you are kind of in in the role of a facilitator, in the sense that you are responsible for the people being part of your community, right?
Yeah.
And of course, nobody is basically hand selecting their community members in that sense. The people who subscribe to you are with you. But by being authentic and by being real to who you are 99.9% of the time going to attract the right people who are like minded and who are on a similar journey and mission with you.
Yes.
Now, Rachel, we talked a little bit about your experience inside the Substack Accelerator as well. I would love to go back a couple of weeks with you and hear a bit more about your experience in how the community, the resources, the support you're getting inside the accelerator has shaped what you are doing with your publication right now. What do you believe makes the biggest difference in the way you are designing your publication and you're running your publication right now?
Yeah, so I think people maybe hear the word accelerator and they think they're just going to be like bombarded by all this information, have courses to watch and this. And yes, there are those tools, but for me, like the biggest change was not learning hacks or getting the tools, even though there's two tools I would totally share and want to share about because I think they're amazing, especially if your newsletter is like your on the side thing. But for me, it was kind of like on me. Like it was being part of people and a group that were taking their publication and writing seriously. And they wanted to be successful. They, all had that shared goal. And I know for my personality, like I need that accountability. I need and want to be in groups of people who want it just as bad as me. And like I said, ideally, I need some people in there that are even more motivated than me and want it even more than me so I can kind of like aspire and see what they're doing. So I think that was really, really important. Um, I, the learning sessions and the Q&A, I can send a question and somebody on the team will like send me a video back that's 2 minutes actually walking through it. Um, and people in the community chime in as well. It's not just the team. So I think for me, it has just given me also like that kind of step to be like, okay, let me have a goal to get to bestseller by the end of the year. And let me surround myself with people who are also taking this seriously and are learning and sharing, how to get better and, grow their community. I think for a lot of us, like, we're not looking to start some crazy big company. If it becomes that way, amazing. But I'm not looking to build the biggest like wellness company. I'm looking to build a brand that people genuinely trust and that people are proud to be part of. And I think that is what I get the feeling of a lot of people in the accelerator just want to share what they love and do it in a way that they're like, making money from it. And, they're putting in effort and seeing some return and seeing that people do want to compensate them for something, whatever it is they discover over their journey. But for me, it's the consistency, it's the accountability. There's 2 live coaching calls every week. I don't attend. In the beginning, I would try and attend them, but I don't move around my schedule for the calls. If I happen to be free, I'll like go on a walk and listen to the calls, and I'll go on video when I have a question or my time comes up. Um, but even doing like one of the weekly calls once every 2 weeks will give you information. And there's 2 every week. So you have time to like absorb that information as well.
Thank you so much for the kind words. Let's talk a little bit about what's next for Ami. We heard about your fall challenge. Is there anything else on your agenda that you'd like to share with anyone listening now? Do you have any plans on the next 20-ish paid members that you're missing to finally get the bestseller badge? Are there any
Yes.
experiments that you're thinking of? Is there anything that you'd like to share?
Yes. I mean, I am sending out newsletters. It's just like, hey, like help me build this thing, upgrade to paid. I think also like a lot of people that even are in your community might think they're paid. They're like, oh, I'm a paid member. And I'm like, no, 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 you're getting our newsletters, but you're not actually like upgraded. And it's just because they don't know. So you have to educate them and tell them. And I think that's not salesy. That's just like telling them something they don't know, because a lot of people genuinely want to support you. I think one thing that I heard on one of the live calls, I think it was on like, you know, doing like a birthday email and saying like something to the effect like the only thing like I would want on my birthday is to become bestseller. It's December 12th. I feel like I can get there really close. And I was like, I don't know. That seems really weird. They're like, definitely put that out there. Like people want to support you. They want to support things they're loving. They want to support things they want to see more of. So put it out there. So I'm definitely like putting out there my journey to bestseller status. When I started the accelerator, I was 29 people away. I think as of today, I'm 20 people away. So like if we keep going on that trajectory, it'll be really great. And hopefully I'll meet my goal by the end of the year. We're doing our first rebrand in 7 years. So I do have Jordan, who's our fractional CMO. Any profits I get from Ami, I put back in the company and I help grow it. I also hired a like rebrand person that I met through Substack. Somebody recommended her in their blog post. And I was like, I met with her and I was like, I think she'll like get a feel of what we're doing. So we're doing a full rebrand. Just growing up a little. I was 34 when I started Ami. Now I'm 41, turning 42. So I feel like I need to like talk like a 41-year-old. I'm a different person. I want different things. So I think it'll, just be a little fresh glow up for Ami. We do live events. So we do live events here and there. We're doing one in August to get people out of their summer hibernation. It's like a cocktail hour on the beach. I'd really just, to continue even in all the noise that is health and wellness, especially over these past 7 years, to be like this trusted brand for women who don't want wellness to be overwhelming. And, we explore things, we try supplements, we do this, we do that. But I think at our core, like we just want to be the company that people genuinely like trust and know is fun and playful and just doesn't take ourselves too seriously.
I love that. And I mean, I don't want to turn this into a coaching session at all. But you're doing such an amazing job. But if I had to give you a
Yes.
little nudge, I would love to see you actually putting the amazing resources you create for your paid tier more into the front. I think you have a great potential to onboard many more paid subscribers, even going well beyond the first 100.
Mhm.
I know you just told us, right? You don't want to do these big pushes and promo
Yeah.
campaigns. But there are like two things actually. I don't know if you've already logged into the accelerator space today, but we just released the bestseller blueprint, which is basically it was supposed to be a small track guiding you through step by step, specific ideas that you can try to become a bestseller. It has
Mhm.
turned into a full 3.5 hour
Oh
blueprint,
gosh.
actually a full
Yeah.
blown course on its own. So I think there will be some really great ideas in there for you. And one thing in particular that you could try to onboard your next few paid members very easily is um, look into the perks feature. I've also recorded a video specifically for that in the community just a few days ago, but it's also part of the bestseller blueprint actually. You have resources that you could instantly turn into a perk on your page. And then you
Okay.
can send people to the perk specifically so that they see, oh, if I upgrade, this is exactly what I can unlock. And this is exactly what I can get access to. And you
Huh.
can gate resources specifically for like for all your paid members or for your annual members only, or for your
Okay.
founding tier members only. And I think that this could work really well for Army because you have the resources already, right? You
Mhm.
have the clean eating guide, you have dozens of things already behind your paywall, and maybe a large chunk of your audience has never even seen them.
Yeah. Yeah,
And this
it's
is
true,
not just
especially
for
the new
you, right?
people. Yeah.
Yeah, this is for everyone who's been producing content for a while. Someone who is subscribing to you today is so unlikely to browse through your archive and see something that you have published a year ago. And that's how we are leveraging the perks page now as well. We have a premium content library, which you have as well, which is really beautiful, by the way. Kudos on that in your case. But you can basically elevate your paid resources, put it in front of your members over and over again so that they see what they would be upgrading to. And in my opinion, the perks page in particular is just a very easy way to make your resources more tangible for members. Because if you think about the standard upgrade page, basically the boxes that you see next to each other with the bullet points where you describe your tiers, it's quite hard to make a strong
Mhm.
case for your paid tier there. But with the perks, it becomes very easy because you can literally say, get this particular resource, and they're unlocking that particular resource with their upgrade. And I could see that working quite well with Ami in particular because you have the resources, you have to trust. People might be excited to unlock a specific resource because they already trust you. They just need to be guided there. It's just
Yeah.
not likely for people to browse through your publication and find things on their own.
Yeah, no, that's so true, and that's why, like, I saw the perk thing, but it kind of went over my head and like Substack's releasing all these new features.
Yeah.
Like I don't have the time to like look into this and what's the perk thing and how. So I think yes, I'll watch the video in the accelerator and I think that sounds like a great option. I also haven't seen like somebody else's perk upgrade, so I want to like see and really look into it on how they work. But like the right stack with the notes
Mhm.
and you all had like you all have been talking about it. I think you had the founder on and on one of the accelerators and that has changed the game for notes for me, where it has allowed me to pre-schedule a lot of notes and look on the stats and restack. So I have notes going, like right now I have notes scheduled through Friday that I did earlier in this week. And like that's perfect for me because I'm not going to be posting throughout the day.
Yeah.
Um like, my brother-in-law jokes, he sees stuff, he's like, "Rachel, you're at dinner with me. How did you just post something?" And I'm like, "No, it's scheduled." Um, but yes, no, the tools, I think, especially like there's a lot coming at us, and I think there's a lot of growth hacks and do this and do that. And the truth is, you just got to dive in and figure out and focus on some things and have the accountability of other people that like want it too, so that you can learn from them.
Exactly. I couldn't agree more. And I love that we had this conversation with you in particular because I think it's, or I hope it is encouraging to a lot of people who listened and who, in particular, feel like they don't have enough time to do all of this, and they maybe feel discouraged seeing people show up all the time doing all all kinds of crazy things, being very very active. But I think what you emphasized in particular is the last thing you said, you can be a bit smart about how you show up and how often you show up by using the right tools and by having some sort of a plan, even if you are not the perfectly organized type person, even if you have 3 kids and a lot of other responsibilities, and this is your Substack is essentially not your main thing, and it's not something that you can dedicate dozens of hours every single day. I think the intention and the desire to be on that mission and to help people is what's driving you forward and what's making this community so special. And yeah, thank you for sharing all of that with us. Thank you for encouraging the
Yes.
listeners, for sharing your journey, and for
Yes,
being
I hope it does
honest about it.
encourage. I think, yes, consistency like compounds in ways you can't see. And I always think about this. Like we've had Ami for 7 years. You write a newsletter, you put a note, and nothing happens. And you write another, then you write another, nothing happens. I remember in the beginning of Ami, I like was kind of like embarrassed to even tell people I had it because it was so small. And I was like, I'd keep it to myself and I'd just like kind of wait. And then like now 7 people later are like, whoa, like you have this real company? It came out of nowhere. And I was like, no, I was showing up. Like I was consistent. People just might not have like been seeing it or, following or brushing it off. So you just have to keep showing up and know that it will compound in ways you cannot see now, but over the years, it will be evident.
I think that's a beautiful ending to this session. Thank you so much for your time,
Great.
Rachel. Thank
Thank you
you
so much,
for
everyone. Mm,
for your honesty
bye.
and for sharing your journey with the community. Take care, everyone. We'll see you in the
Thank
next
you.
one. Bye
Bye.
bye.